A few weeks ago, it was a New Year's Eve, and I stayed in. I was in my PJs with a cup of tea, and I watched the fireworks from my window, all cozied up. And it got me thinking, why was that such a rebellious choice? I mean, years ago, I would be somewhere at an event or party forcing fun. And I don't know what compelled me, but it was the best decision. So let's talk about it. My name is Nadia Virginie, and this is Becoming Grey. So my family and I guess society have made the idea that how you enter New Year's is the way that your year is going to pan out. Can I say that with certainty of it being true? I don't know, but I guess actually in comparison to how 2025 was and how it entered the year versus many years before that, where I was forcing fun, I could probably say that that has some ring of truth. Who knows? I spent last year abroad with family, really organically, not completely planned, and it was fabulous. And I think 2025 was kind of a family year for me, so it was fun. I mean, it's not the core theme, but it was a theme of my 2025. But the old script would have been me forcing myself to have fun. Now, I've repeated that quite a bit, but I genuinely can tell you that that was the case. There was definitely a year where I was frantically trying to find something to do for New Year's. There'd be years that I'd be kind of performing, going to some cool events and feeling like I was completing myself. And even when I was there, I was just disassociating. There were years that I would be overly planning and putting lots of pressure on myself to create this New Year's. I'm thinking about a year that I had it at my apartment. There were varying New Years where there was nothing organic, nothing really that spoke to me. But that's what it felt like. And I mean, let me tell you a story about maybe 3 years ago. I don't want to tell you the story anymore. Let me think about it. Okay, let me summarize some stories. So I was talking about an apartment, right? I had my own apartment at the end of university, of like the final years of university, and I was, let's just say, in an unfulfilling relationship with friends that were good enough friends, were not really my friends, but were friends of the time convenience of what I like to call good enough friends. So not really aligned, but there, and you have your superficial connections with. I mean, that's a topic in itself, good enough friends, but let's not get sidetracked. I spent hours cleaning because someone said they would clean and then they didn't. And I was frantically trying to get things organized. I was late for the prees, like the little dinner that we had. And then I remember trying to get the countdown on the TV, but far too late because I was just completely stressed and disassociated for the entire evening, and we missed the countdown. And I just remember being so exhausted, so disoriented for the whole evening. It was not enjoyable. But that was not the only one. I remember, again, in the realm of adulthood, trying to organise. Well, I had a friend of mine from work that we were quite close with. I was quite close with. And we ended up going to another loose friend. Again, a good enough friend. And it was sweet, it was lovely, met lovely people, never met them again. And really, if I spent just that evening with her, it would have been so lovely, but we made it into this whole palaver that really didn't need to be. I mean, if I go back when I was a teenager, beyond the kind of family New Year's, I just think I was performing, really. I was trying to perform the perfect New Year's. I mean, I think we can all see, especially with social media, how the New Year's outfit, the New Year's aesthetic is quite glamorized. And I definitely fell for that for many years. And if I wasn't acting in accordance, I wasn't doing it right. But that all changed this year. We're going to ignore last year because it was organic and unique in itself, and it just happened. And maybe that was the catalyst. But this year, and albeit I had options, I had some nice options, whether that was a family affair or a really nice evening with a couple of people that I'd networked with and this lovely woman, and it would have been a great opportunity. But even that sounds weird because I just love that friend. And I didn't know the rest of the people. And you can spend your year networking, okay? It doesn't need to be New Year's. Anyway, going a draft again. I had options. But you know what the best option was for me that kept coming into my mind was, I just want to sit. Oh my gosh. Okay, I had options. I just thought of another one that I dismissed because it was too much planning, going away to Brighton. But the best option that just kept coming to my mind was sitting in my lovely silky PJs, having a cup of tea. My tea is getting cold. I need to hurry up. But having a lovely cup of tea and sitting and watching the fireworks. And it was better than I even planned. My dad called me just after the New Year's, and as I was like waiting for the fireworks to start, and he called me and I was on the phone to him, and it was like a movie. I'm on the phone being like, yeah, happy New Year's. I'm hearing him pass around all the family, and the fireworks start. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's fireworks. No, it is not your London fireworks. I mean, I am in London, but this is like neighbourhood fireworks, okay? I'm not seeing Big Ben and all this stuff from where I am. But it was beautiful. The amount, or the few, but the few but plenty. That's the contradiction. But it was sparse, but enough to feel magical. And I just sat there, cozied up, watching the fireworks, and just purely content. It wasn't staying in; it was choosing in, and I think what really made me reframe and choose to stay in, and to be honest, I think I've been choosing in, well, a lot of 2025, if not prior, but truly 2025, without really labeling it. And I think it's reflecting on those circumstances. Now, New Year's Eve is not the only time that I was forcing to fill out my calendar. I would like to say I'm an extroverted introvert, so I recharge at home, but I do like good interactions. I love to chat, but I want it to be uplifting, enjoyable, with depth, energizing, and really I was just performing that script of filling out my calendar, having fun on the surface, and I started waking up to that in 2025, realizing, what am I doing and why am I here? Why am I drinking or performing just to survive a circumstance? What? Nothing should be making you actively try to inhibit yourself just to survive a circumstance, you know? That's not okay. That's not fun. You can frame it whatever you like, but it's not fun. It's forced fun, but it's not fun. And actually, you can have fun by yourself or with a select few people and truly make it fruitful and make a difference. So I decided to make a rule. I only go if it's a definite yes. If I really feel compelled and I feel up for it. At the end of the day, the more I chose myself in, the more I became very selective with my energy. And I know I talk about energy a lot, and I hope by this point you hear what I say and mean when I say energy. Just myself, you know? I think choosing in meant really thinking about where I was spending my time, where I was spending my energy, because actually those are expenditures that we tend to forget about. We think about all of the physical, money, resources, but really a critical resource is our time and is our energy. And because it's metaphysical, we don't think about how much we spend it on shit. Mind my French. But It's been a lovely realization. Ultimately, it's about curating your life on genuine energy and not other people's expectations. When I started choosing in, it wasn't being lonely or being alone. It was invigorating in a sense that I felt nourished, I felt rested, I felt like I was doing right by me. When I have deep conversations and I have one-to-one connections, playing chess with a friend at a cafe, for fuck's sake, or just having a deep chat over coffee. Those are the moments that I will remember. That New Year's was beyond perfect. Again, another time I will not forget. Because I was doing right by me. And really finding that balance between the world around us and ourselves is paramount for just being happy. And well, I think I've just topped it off my favorite New Year's. And I see how it is sad. But I had a great time. So is there anything that you're doing out of obligation and not out of your truth that is calling for a change? I'll leave that with you, and I'll bid you adieu. Goodbye. Bye.